program. At the moment, we are going to start the program with Deepansh Singh's presentation. Deepansh is from Kerala, India. Deepansh, please unmute your line and tell us where you're joining from, what you're talking about, what you're working on.
Hey, so before starting, I should clear myself out. Am I audible? Because there might be a network issue from my side. Am I audible?
No, there is no echo. You are clear. You're fine.
Okay, great. So I'm Deepansh Singh. So brief background information about myself is like I am CEO of Pebble Distributed Ledger Technology. So we have been working for this technology for the last 8 months. So basically, Pebble DLT, it's a ledger technology. Basically, the issue with blockchain is like blockchain was just meant for a project. It was not meant to the scale it is right now. So the major problem with blockchain is like the security issue is still a major pain point why people are not coming on board with blockchain, as well as the transaction speed or the fast throughput, what we call in the blockchain. So my team and I, we are a team of 4 people. We have been working out for like couple of 8 months, and we have developed a technology. We call it Pebble because the core algorithm works like a pebble. So moving on to the next slide, if possible. So
can you talk a little bit about your background? That would help me gauge where your point of view is coming from.
Yeah, sure. So right now I'm a BTech student. I'm doing my BTech in Chemical Engineering from National Institute of Technology, Calicut, NIT Calicut, Kerala. So I already had one startup when I was in my first year. We sold that startup for around 50 lakhs rupees. So I don't know how to convert not in USD, but it was from the INR. It was 50 lakh rupees. I sold that technology. It was a Dole of technology. From there, I got to know that startup is really a good thing to make money, as well as if you have the right opportunity, you will get to know the market as well as you can make money very easily. So one of my teammates, Gautam, who was a backend developer during my that startup, he came across with the idea. He was bitching about blockchain. He told like blockchain cannot be the future because it is not fast enough, it is not secure enough. So we need to find out a better alternative to. So for the last 8 months, we developed a technology, Pebble, that is next layer on blockchain. So basically, there is no single scalable platform to process financial settlement or blockchain-based private network transaction. Even though blockchain take around, if you want 200 transactions of Bitcoins, it will take around you 1 second. So 200 transactions per second is the limit you can have on the blockchain. As well as blockchain is just like a thread. So we have built a system that can process transaction and carry payload in an efficient and secure way. Highly scalable, highly throughput ledger technology. If we may move to the next slide. Yeah, so regarding the technical overview, the 2 key points that I was mentioning was security and speed. So from the speed, as you can see from our throughput slide, a prototype, we have projected 1 million transactions per second in our distributed ledger technology, and no company has ever reached that level. There's only one company in the whole world that has reached more than 1 million. That company is Radix DLT. So that company is still flopping because of its technical issues and loopholes. But we have found out that we have went to a couple of more people in India, very well-known people in the blockchain community. So we have done a technical review of our paper. White paper has not been released yet because we want a fully patent independent, irrespective of the boundaries. It is we want to patent in USA, we want to patent in India, Singapore most probably. So that's why we haven't launched our white paper yet. But since due to our projections, we are projecting a 1 million transactions per second, and that can be overwhelming. We can run the whole blockchain transaction within 10 minutes, and you can get the thing from it. Share network. What it comes from the share network is like what we want is like first we are going to penetrate the private networks, and then we are going to go into the public network. So what I mean from private network is like we are going to be a B2B kind of a SaaS model in which we will be providing our network to the businesses, enterprises, small scale, large scale, irrespective of the volume of transaction they are having in blockchain. So we are going to create a network among those people, and what we call is a shared network in which there will be a cut down cost. It will be a peer-to-peer network. Cut down cost, your transaction speed will be really high, your overall charges that you will be incurring will be way less. And because of a wave protocol that is mentioned in our slide, this is because and since I'm from the management background, my partner and the stakeholders also is the one who created this wave protocol. Actually, because of this protocol only, we are able to succeed and reach 1 million transactions per second. Moving on to the next slide. If you consider blockchain as a thread, consider us as a fabric. We are way more secure than blockchain is right now. So if you are able to penetrate blockchain, since our is fabric, it is actually quantum proof as well. So in the coming future, there won't be any issue regarding the security perspective of our technology, because we use basically Bowen line Shazam signature. And in our technology, there won't be any 51% attack theoretically. It's not possible at all. Since it is possible in blockchain, it won't be possible in our technology. Since we are a ledger technology, a next generation of blockchain, you may call it. Since I already mentioned that we won't be going to the public network as per now, we first will be targeting the private network, because we want to create the worth of the network. Because you can find out, like, similar to Bitcoin, there's like 1,000 companies who are having their ledger technology in the market, but there's no transaction flow going on to the network, because people doesn't believe in those networks. People believe in Bitcoin, right? So what we are thinking, like, since we are better in speed, we are better in security, what we can propose, like, firstly, we shall go and penetrate the B2B market. Those companies who use blockchain for their transaction, be it money, be it data, be it assets and everything. Once we are able to capture what, if my colleagues and delegates are familiar with Coda R3. So Coda R3 is similar. Coda R3 has a similar business model like us. So we are going to penetrate the market similar to what Coda R3 does. We are first going to penetrate the enterprises, small scale, large scale, and create a worth of the network, targeting banking sector as well, supply chain management. Once at least we are having a mindset like, okay, people are accepting our technology, then we can move on.
Deepansh, I would like you to explain to me first, who is the target customer?
Okay, sure. So if you may move ahead one more slide. Please, one more slide. Yeah. So what we are going to earlier before that. Yeah. So our targeted sector are the insurance provider. As you can see, are the 5 points. We believe that we have to first keep a narrow-minded, a very targeted, very specific target audience, so that we can prove that, okay, we have use cases right now. So what we are going to do is, like, we are going to target, first of all, there's 2 types of enterprises, small scale, large scale. So for the small enterprises, blockchain is always an issue because of cost. They cannot come to they cannot come to Ethereum, they cannot come to Coda R3, because cost is a major issue for them. So, ma'am, if you may move one slide earlier. Yeah. So this is our financial table. As you can see, for Pebble, we are way more cheaper than any other competitor in the whole wide world. Be it Azure, be it IBM, be it Amazon, be it Coda. So for the small scale enterprises, we will be having an hourly charges, and we will build API for them so that they can do their blockchain transaction at speed at very cheaper cost. So which all businesses who are having blockchain as a mode of transaction, be it data, be it asset, be it money, they can use our platform for it. Similar to what Ethereum or Coda R3 or Amazon, IBM, Coda, or some company provide the same. So this is our use cases. We build an API for them.
I'm sorry, I don't understand what you're talking about. So what is the use case that you are facilitating in the insurance sector? So insurance providers, explain to me what is the use case that you are going to go into with your solution and try to sell to insurance providers? And are you talking about large enterprises? Are you talking about mid-sized insurance providers? Are you talking about small businesses? These are very different businesses. You know, selling an enterprise deal is a very different business than selling to small businesses. So you need to position yourself to one of those. You need to position yourself based on size. You need to position yourself based on use cases and based on industry sectors. So work with me to get to the narrow positioning, laser sharp positioning of where you think you are going to offer value. What is the use case? What kind of company are we targeting?
It's really a great question, and that's what we were actually struggling with. It's like our ma'am, it will take hardly 1 minute to explain the whole thing. It's like first is like our technology is a network, right? Like Ethereum and Coda R3. People have to come on board using their API. So any company, any enterprises, be it small scale, large scale, they can come over our network using their API. So in the uniqueness of a product like you can transfer data, assets, money, be it anything in our network.
That
So
doesn't matter. Deepansh, that doesn't matter. There are lots of technologies out there that are applicable to lots of different companies. When Salesforce.com first came into the market with their CRM software, it's not like there was no CRM software in the market. Siebel Systems was the market leader in CRM, and Siebel catered to enterprises, large enterprises. Salesforce.com came into the market with the cloud-based CRM product and specifically did not go after large customers, large enterprises. Not because they didn't have the product that would be applicable to large enterprises, but because you need a market entry strategy. And they went after small, medium businesses. And that's where they got their early adoption. And they priced the product accordingly. They created the sales channel, the marketing channel, everything accordingly. So it's not about what your technology can do. It's about what is your market entry strategy? What is your go-to-market strategy? How you're going to align your sales, marketing, pricing, etc. that drives whether your company is going to be successful or not. So whether you like it or not, you're going to have to select, no matter how applicable your company and your product is across the board, you have to select how you enter the market. And that has to be very precise, very sharp, and very narrow strategy. So tell me, what is your narrow strategy? And by the way, it's perfectly normal that you're struggling with this. This is what everybody struggles with. Every single entrepreneur in the world struggles with this.
Yeah, that's the one thing. Like we have something that is can be a valued thing, can be an alternative to blockchain, but we still we talk to a couple of clients, businesses, small scale businesses. There's one if I may tell you about our clients that we talked earlier. It's like there was one client who was a part of DCB banking. He needed to done auditing through blockchain. So we told like, sir, it's fine. We will build the API for you, and you can do auditing on our platform. There's one more client who needed to do in Kerala. There is one thing known as lottery tickets. So Kerala government wanted to build lottery through blockchain, lottery via blockchain. So we told Kerala government, it's fine. You can build we will have the API done, and you can build everything on our platform. So that's the one thing that we're still struggling with. Do we want to be a SaaS company who provides network as a software to the companies who want to do blockchain who are established on a blockchain field? So ma'am, to be clear, our will be a kind of a bird and an egg problem in which until the condition that we have more than 30 or 40 clients on our network, nowhere it is possible for us to have a revenue of $1 million per year or something kind of thing. So at least starting 50 clients for our network will be the hardest and the major task for us, because if nobody is coming to our network, irrespective we have a better technology, irrespective of better speed, security, if nobody is coming on our platform, it is nothing. So the main target and the main
look, Deepansh, you're talking in very generic terms.
Yeah.
If you want to build a business out of this, you're going to need to get very specific. And that specificity has to be based on what you go after. People are not going to come to you. Nobody knows that you exist. So people are not going to come to you until you create conditions in which they come to you. And you go to them is going to be the more likely scenario. So the question is, there are millions and millions of businesses out there whom you could be selling to. Whom would you go to? So if you look at your targeted sectors list, insurance providers is number one. I don't know if that is by design, that is a conscious choice, or it just happens to be there. But let's for the moment, for the sake of argument, let's take insurance providers as your market entry segment. Then you need to make a list of insurance providers and what is the use case that you're going to solve for them using your technology. So you need to go to insurance providers, you need to find the right buyer within the insurance providers who's responsible for that particular use case and have 100 conversations with 100 insurance providers who fit the description of the use case, the problem that you're trying to solve. That's how you enter a market in B2B business development.
Sure. Yeah,
I
get
really get your point. That you need customers, but you need to find the 50 right customers in a particular segment, not 50 random customers from here, there, and everywhere. That doesn't serve any purpose.
That doesn't serve any purpose. Exactly. Yeah. It's true. It's really true, and that's why we are thinking of like which is the best targeted narrow targeted audience or the client businesses that we can target. Will it be insurance providers, supply chain management, or whatever?
Think in terms of use case and the pain point in each of these sectors that you're talking about. If any of these customers were to insert your technology, what problem, what pain point, what use case would they apply you to? That will drive, and where is the ROI for that really strong? So, you're young, right? You haven't done a lot of this stuff before, so you would benefit a lot from learning some methodology of how to bring a product to market and getting, guidance on that. That's why I asked you right up front is what is your background? Because you're taking on something, you're making a very big statement, right? You're opening this presentation by saying, let's go back. You're opening this presentation by saying, no single scalable platform to process financial settlements or blockchain-based private network transactions. These are very big statements. And you're saying that you have the solution, but you don't have any track record to claim that you are credible as a solution provider, right? So that means that you have to go and show customers that here is your problem, here's how we can solve the problem, and please try this out and see if it solves your problem, etc. That process is going to have to be very, very carefully crafted.
If I may, ma'am, if I may add up.
Yeah, go on. Please go on. Go ahead.
Yeah, ma'am. Sorry for the interruption. I needed to interrupt because of the one thing that you told me. Since we have our MVP done on our network. So we have contacted one guy known as Mr. Rajesh, who is the CEO of Counterfeit. So we are going to do a beta private testing with him, and as per our projection, we are going to have a revenue from one single client $400 per month. Because of this thing, only per day, the only charge that we are incurring is the server charges. That is overall coming to be $0.69 per day. So this guy, Mr. Rajesh, who is the CEO of Counterfeit, as I told earlier, is having again one startup which needed blockchain-based transaction to be done. So this was our first client, and he is also kind of a mentor to us. So his company Counterfeit is the one who is doing blockchain transactions. So we told him that you come to our platform just for 1 month, it will be completely free for you to test it out. So for the last 10 days, this guy and his team is completely testing out our platform, seeing whether it is feasible for us, whether it is economically, everything is it. So after that, this guy told me register your company ASAP. Once you register your company, I will be the investor and I will be the first client. And as per our projection, we projected the only charge, as I explained you, $0.69 is the charge that we are incurring, and we got $5,000 credits on our Amazon cloud. So the revenue projection.
All that is very well. The problem is it doesn't solve your market entry strategy issue. You still need to pick a category, pick a sector, pick a use case, a pain point, and go find customers in that pain point and do what you're doing with Rajesh with people within that sector, which is your target sector. You need 100 customers or prospects within a particular sector, within a particular use case to do that same thing with and get them using. If you can do that, that puts you on track to actually building a company.
Yeah, I can say very easily yes, but it is going to be a very hardest job for me because
it's
it is
hard.
going to be
It's
like
very hard. It's very, very hard. But that's a good thing. The fact that it's hard is a good thing because then everybody and their mother cannot do it and compete with you. If it were easy, everybody and their mother would be doing it and competing with you.
so yeah, that is yeah. Invest
Now,
more
I have
time
one
rather
other piece of
than
feedback here on your competition slide. Actually, what you're trying to do here is pricing. This is not called financial table. You're doing a competitive analysis of the market's pricing models. The problem that I see here is that $1,000 versus $955 versus $1,313, $1,344, $1,208. This doesn't buy you, I mean, it's not positioning you as something that is significantly cheaper or significantly more attractive. If I have the option of going with Azure for $955 and with you for $1,002, all things being equal, I would go with Azure. And even 1,313 is not that much different. You know, Amazon 1,344 is not that much different. So I'm not sure what is the point you're trying to make here with this slide.
Sure. So if I make clear from this point is like if you're having if a business want to choose Pebble or Azure over Pebble. So the thing that demerits of Azure is like even though their blockchain platform pricing per hour is $0.8 to $8, the major demerit for Azure is like their data storage. As you can see, ma'am, it is $0.065, but it come across like it is way more incurring for the enterprises that is coming on Azure because that will ultimately be a exponential growth for the data storage. And blockchain data manager charging 0.002 per transaction. If a company having a transaction of 800,000 transaction per year, it will be a very significant amount from that side itself. And if a businesses want to come on Azure, their CPU core required is 2. So you have to bring your own nodes, you have to bring your own server farm. But our shared resources will be like we will be taking care of everything. You don't have to worry about your server, you don't have to worry about anything, you don't have to bring your own servers from this side as well. And our blockchain platform pricing, ma'am, we can actually $1,002 can be reduced to $500 as well. Since like one thing I may want to mention like
this slide is a misleading slide. It doesn't convey any of the things that you're saying, especially that line total price at the bottom of the table is a completely misleading line. Then you should take it out.
Yeah, like
you
ma'am,
should
the
take
thing
that
is like
last line out. And if I understand what you're trying to say is that the fact that your transaction, the data manager is free. That's one of your big selling points. Storage, your storage is more expensive than Azure. So what are you? And it's the same as Amazon. So what is the advantage of your storage pricing?
Yeah, ma'am, sure. So I will be like finishing up your every doubt that you have. It is actually a very common doubt. That's why people actually have a mistrust for it. So firstly, let me explain you. From the beginning itself, we are college student, right? So as I already mentioned you, the only charges that we're incurring per day is $0.69. What we thought is like, okay, let's have $1, $1.35 or $0.10 as you can see here, or the total pricing is $1,002. We thought like, okay, if we are having one businesses on board, let's break even within the first month we launched. We can reduce $1.32.
Hold on. What are you trying to convey with this slide? Is this a competition slide or is it your cost structure slide?
Ma'am, this is actually a competitive analysis of the pricing of the different company as compared to us. So $1.35.
The slide, the way you're presenting the slide as a competitive analysis slide is doing you a disservice, not a service.
Yeah.
So work on the slide
I
and
get
learn
your
to
point.
present that slide in a way that, you know, that works.
Sure, ma'am. I get your point. Like, let me just finish up by saying is like, we are having IPFS integration that makes our data storage really cheap. So whatever the pricing that you're seeing from our company is like having a margin of around 150% margin. So we just need to have a revenue of more than $0.7 per day so that we are break even. So these margins are way more like 150% of what we are projecting for ourselves. So we can come down our data storage for around like call it $0.05 per hourly charges to $0.5 as well. And after effectively it will come down to the overcharges that a company will be incurring will be $500. Now you can see like $500, small scale industry will sure as a hell will choose $500 as to go to Azure, IBM, Amazon. This is just our tentative pricing model so that we wanted to get to know like, okay, we will break even within the first month of we are launching. We can reduce the pricing model and come down to $500. Still we are having a profit margin.
Yeah, but right now you have no cost structure. That's not how business operates. I doubt that you're going to end up with a large company with no cost structure. That's not going to be how you're going to operate in the long run. So for the moment, it's fine, but I still maintain that you need to go find your market entry sector and apply whatever assumptions you're making to a particular sector and a particular problem so that you start building a business. Otherwise, you're kind of futzing around.
Sure, man. That
As
is
students,
noted. That
it's great. What you've built is wonderful. But, you know, since you've built it, now learn how to market it and how to sell it and how to make money off it. Okay?
Yeah, sure.
All right.